Hey guys, it's Cube Dimensions here. I want to showcase my entire base and everything I've done up until this point. Now, instead of uploading videos to my main channel, I've decided to just get addicted to this mod pack called StoneBlock 4. And one of the things that's annoying about this mod pack is that there's this thing called the world engine, and in order to craft certain things and use certain items that would make your life a lot easier, you have to craft them in the world engine. In order to make something as simple as an ender chest, you need to craft it in the world engine. But there's also a lot of stuff that is super broken in this mod pack that allows you to get away with some things. Now, I've spent a very unhealthy amount of time on my StoneBlock world. I think I started playing like a week or two ago, and I almost have 100 hours, so I'm about to get the achievement for this, and I wanted to showcase my addiction to you guys. So I'm almost at the very end. I'm at tier 5, and I'm supposed to make a black hole. And in order to make a black hole, I need to combine a small chaos fragment with an antimatter pellet. To make an antimatter pellet, I need to crystallize some antimatter. In order to get some antimatter, I need to go in and convert polonium to antimatter. To make polonium, I need a neuron activator, which I've already made, and I need to combine nuclear waste with a neutron pile. That will make polonium. To get nuclear waste, you have to make a fission reactor. Then to make fissile fuel, you need to centrifuge uranium hexafluoride, and then you need to combine all this stuff. It's a pain. Then you need to make sulfuric acid, and there's all this really crazy steps that lead up to this. And let's see if you have any good trades. Nope. See you, buddy. That's what you get for interrupting my video, Wandering Trader, and not even give me good trades. This is my mob spawner I have here. It's practically useless now because I have a bunch of other crazy farms. I want to showcase some other parts of my base, how I'm actually powering it. This here's my applied energistics setup. There was a tutorial that I watched in order to autocraft a bunch of stuff, and you're going to really need autocrafting in StoneBlock 4, or else your life is just going to be hell playing this game. I have a bunch of quantum rings set up, and you need quantum rings to wirelessly connect your crafting terminal. Over here, whenever you want to set up auto crafting for, let's just say, smelting something, if I wanted to, for example, okay, this is like a steel ingot. If you want to go in and auto craft some steel, all I need to do is go into here, go into alloy smelting, and I can just go to encode pattern at the pattern encoder, go here. I can either go into the pattern access terminal and access the alloy smelter here, or I can go to the pattern provider on the alloy smelter and I can just place this bad boy here. Now, whenever you actually want to go in and really just add a brand new thing to process, you only need a pattern provider. So let's just say if I want to automatically smelt something and I really need it, this here is just my quartz farm. So if you really want to automatically set up an applied energetic, something like smelting, all you need to do is just place down the smelter, take an extended pattern provider. Sometimes these pattern providers, if you put a pattern in them to go in and let's just say smelt some gold, it will actually mess up and it just won't pull the gold out, or it will pull the gold out and it won't know. That's because you need to set up the pattern provider, if you right click the top, to point down, and that will point towards the input. Now, these advanced providers are really important. This is in some other add-on mod for using applied energistics. If you need to put in multiple recipes, you can encode them to put them in certain faces. Let's just say you have the metallurgic infuser, which obviously you know you need to put redstone here and copper or osmium here in order to craft certain things. Well, you can go into the advanced pattern processor and you can tell it, hey, go in and insert the second item in the bottom, even though the block is right above it, and go in and insert the input and output into the first slot on top. So this allows you to go in and craft certain things that you wouldn't be able to do in vanilla applied energistic. If you have the hoe from Just Dire Things, you can shift right click the chest, and if you go in and you go and till some soil and you do something like place down some seeds here, it'll automatically go in and it will place it. The tilled land will automatically place anything that is harvestable in that storage container. It's full right now, so we don't need to do that. In order to make certain resources in mass, you can set up chickens and you can have them feed a bunch of drawers, and then you can connect said drawers to applied energistics or refine. Specifically in this drawer mod, you don't need to have drawers right next to the storage controller. And if you don't know this, if you set up drawers from this mod, you can have it connected to a controller, which allows you to access everything. Now, the funny thing is, I have a controller access point which gives me access to all the drawers within a radius. And I have applied energistics putting stuff in and out of it, so I don't actually have to use up all of my item storage cells. So this is very, very helpful. So if I want to store a bunch of diamond and I don't want to end up using up a whole disk drive, I can just go in and throw an upgrade on it. So this is a diamond upgrade. If you look at the top right here, this is the storage limit. I can up the limit by going in and right clicking one of these storage containers. So clay, a little bit expensive. Now I can hold up to 20 million clay, and whenever clay is mined by my unearther, which the setup is pretty simple. You have a cobblestone generator, goes into a hammer, which turns it into gravel, then it turns the gravel into dirt, turns the dirt into sand, and then the sand is unearthed. And I have a bunch of relic apples that feed these guys to make them work a little faster. It's not an efficient setup, but at this point, I really don't need the unearthers that much. There is a new mod called replication, and in replication, you can simply take a memory chip, take an item like this, and you can teach it to that memory chip. I'm going to go in and take that back. And once it learns it, you can go in and you can create certain items, not out of thin air, but using the matter that you've collected. If you have something like bottles of enchanting, if you have ender pearls, if you have lapis lazuli, which if you hold down shift, there's a bunch of values that indicate that there's gems, there's earth, there's, I don't know what that's called organic matter, and you can throw it in a disintegrator and your whole network will end up storing each element in these matter tanks. And then in the replication terminal, you can eventually convert it into diamond or whatever. Now I want to showcase some other parts of my base, and that's the pocket dimensions. I'm not going to right click this compact machine because it'll lag out my game, but I have a smaller compact machine. I don't have this set to my dislocator, but when I was originally powering my base, I set up all of these farms in a compact machine. The tilled land rapidly makes this stuff grow. It puts it in this chest, and I have this chunk loaded. I also have this part that spawns a bunch of chicken seed, and that goes into my ender chest to make sure that my chickens are continuously fed. I also didn't need this much chorus fruit, but I just put the bonsai pot in here. Now heading back to our base, I have a bunch of other pocket dimensions set up. Now this one was created using the spatial pylons. In this mod pack, if you actually want a compact machine, you have to pretty much just buy it from the Echo shop and you get a limited amount of currency. If you manually set up one of these spatial pylons, which is a pain, I can just go in and create a little pocket dimension if I really want to. I'm going to go in and actually try to make one right now just to showcase how easy it is. I'm going to craft a spatial component. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go and charge my draconic chess piece, and I need that in order to charge my quantum link. And there we go. My system ended up crafting a spatial component, and I'll go in and craft a spatial storage cell. Throw it into my spatial IO port. It's going to take up quite a bit of power the more spatial pylons you place. And if I want to go in and put myself in a pocket dimension, I can do this. And there we go, I'm inside the pocket dimension. And if I really want to go and set up, let's just say a fission reactor, a draconic reactor, I can do this here in the spatial storage, and I don't have to worry about destroying my actual base. I'm going to go in and save a spot in here. So in my advanced dislocator, I'm going to click new. I'll just call it black hole room, and I'll lock it so I don't accidentally delete it. And I'll move this at the very bottom. Once we teleport back home, if I really want to reload this place, I can go and place the spatial storage cell here. I can hit the button again and it will open the hard drive that has all these blocks in it. But we want to go in and put this right back in. So we'll go in and teleport our setup back. And the funny thing is, I can just place the spatial storage cell inside of my storage, and I can actually just keep teleporting back into it whenever I want. Let me showcase some other things that I've built. This here is my chemical room, and I have a quantum link from my base going into this place, and I have some more crafting units set up. Now, inside of my chemical room pocket dimension, I have a bunch of Ortex stuff set up. I don't really need 2 assemblers, but I went and set up a second one so I didn't have to use up that many patterns when I made upgrades, because in order to use something that's necessary to make the black hole, you want to put a lot of power into it if you use a smaller ring. I have a sulfuric chicken that I'm exporting a bunch of seed into, and it's making me sulfur, which I need it for the sulfuric acid to eventually refine into fissile fuel for the game. Now, whenever I need to make fissile fuel, I have automatically set it up so it just crafts it. This setup is not really that good. Looks like my auto crafter ended up messing up, or I messed up somehow, and I'll just go in and put this here, and that should make hydrofluoric acid. We're going to go inside of our compact machine, which it lags out when I open that up manually, so we're going to go into our compact grinder. I have a quantum ring set up connected to my base. I have all these export buses to fuel the fission reactor. Whenever you set up a fission reactor with mechanism, you need to have some redstone gates. What this simply does is that if the temperature gets too high, or if something just goes way too bad, then it will go in and it will feed into this fission reactor logic adapter, and it will shut the fission reactor off. So as you can see, it stopped going, but this will automatically activate and it will shut the reactor off. The nuclear waste, which you can't exactly store in applied energistics, is being pumped into my neutron activator, and I'm gonna have to go in and combine that with some stuff soon. We're gonna need a resistive heater, and I'm gonna need to set up a quantum entangloporter, and that should power the resistive heater, which should power this. Now, in order to make polonium, I already trained the advanced pattern provider to make polonium for me. So all I need to do is go into the wireless crafting terminal, make a very, very small amount of polonium, which you actually need the polonium pellets to make this special casing, which is needed to finally make the antimatter. And that's quite annoying, but that's what we need to do. We're gonna make some casing, which I already trained this to do. Make one casing. We need plutonium. Ugh. And polonium. Ugh. No way. Oh my gosh. We got to make that. We got to put that in the centrifuge. Are you kidding me? And then we got a plutonium pellet, and you can turn them into pellets, and then we can just put the waste right back in. Now, as this fission reactor is outputting the nuclear waste, this is going into my neutron activator. But I'm also going to need to go in and make, I guess, the plutonium stuff. So the pressurized tube, it's going to go in and pump some plutonium. Well, I accidentally messed this up, so I'm going to have to be really careful. This should go into this. The extended pattern provider. Not good. We want these pressurized tubes to output the really bad stuff at the bottom, so this will output back out the spent nuclear waste. The bottom, it's an output, and if we hover over here, you can see there's a warning saying, you know, bad stuff's going to happen. Set up an export bus, and this will export our water. And we just reached play for 100 hours. I guess this is really nasty radiation. You do not break any of these pressurized tubes. If you're not an admin on the server, you're screwed. And if you want to play legitimately, well, it's not that good. I should make some plutonium pellets, which are used to make these stupid casings. Now all we need to do is just train this to make the plutonium pellets. This should be the input output at the top. And if we go in and we make one plutonium pellet, let's see what happens. Let's see if this is going to take in. There we go. And at the top, input output, auto eject. There we go. And if we want to make this SPS casing, which is extremely important, we don't have enough neutron piles, so we want to make SPS casing. We got to craft polonium, which craft polonium, you got to go in and do this. Now I want to showcase how to use the particle accelerator. Now while waiting for our casing to be made, which we're sadly going to need a lot of, we can actually go in and try to craft something with the particle accelerator. Now the crazy thing is you got to use something Stone Age like redstone in order to use this correctly, but when you insert an item, let's just say you want to make a black hole and you need an antimatter pellet and you need a chaos shard, you need to time it correctly so when it's going at the exact speed that you need it to, when the one item in the crafting recipe goes fast enough, you can have it trigger a sensor when it goes to a certain speed, and it will emit a redstone signal, and you can have that place that item inside the particle accelerator, the second one. Once those two items collide at that exact speed, it will go and create that item. Now if you want to make something like platinum, you can either smelt down the platinum, or as I've trained my applied energistic system to do, to combine it with 2 pieces of gold in the particle accelerator. Gold dust, and it will create platinum. The minimum energy is 500 joules. The particle accelerator pattern provider will insert the item in here. It'll go into this chest. This logical sorter, which is from Mechanism, puts it round robin. So what this means is that you put 2 items in here, it will look at both the inventories it's connected to, or all the inventories, and it will put an item in that inventory, and then it'll just cycle to the next one. It'll pretty much just distribute everything to every connected inventory. But once you put an item in the particle accelerator, it will automatically activate the accelerator. You'll want to have something put into the other hopper. Now, if you want to learn how to make a particle accelerator, you can just take one of the parts, hold down Alt for documentation, and it gives you a guide on how to do stuff. However, it's just a lot of complicated text, so let me just quickly summarize it for you. You need 2 particle accelerators. You need these things called guide rings. I think I have a total of 16 in this ring. You need 3 linear motors for each side, so you need 12 linear motors. I have these quantum entangle porters, so the wiring doesn't become painful powering every single motor. You don't need these dark matter blocks, I don't think. I just put them there because the video I saw was using them. And then in the middle, you need to put a magnetic field. You need to use more energy the smaller these rings are in order to craft things, so you'll probably want to set up your tech tree to make these giant capacitors. If I want to go in and make platinum, we're going to place 1 gold dust in here, which the hopper is locked. Once it reaches the desired speed, which this automatically detects the recipe, it will pulse the redstone torch. It'll turn off the hopper. The gold dust will go into the particle accelerator, and then it will collide with the other gold dust, which will make us the platinum. So once we go in and we put this gold dust in the particle accelerator, it's going to speed up because it's going to go through the motors. It's going to speed up faster and faster and faster and faster. Take a look over here. Oh, wow. You can see how fast that is. It automatically imported it, but if we look, we should have some platinum. What the heck happened to our platinum dust? We're going to go in and craft a platinum dust here. And as you can see, it already was smart enough to place it in there. It should export it into, what the heck? This is supposed to be round robin. Uh-oh, it messed up the recipe. Oh, well, let's go and try to craft it again. And if we... What? It only placed 1 gold dust in here. By the way, don't stand on here or else you'll get killed. I had a totem of undying and some invincibility there, but you don't want to stand on the particle accelerator or else it'll kill you. And then... No! Uh-oh. That's not good. Well, I think I messed this up somehow. I think we broke the auto sensor somehow. That's weird. Why would it do that? It's round robin. Oh. We have to force a single item. Forgot about that. Anyways, because this is messed up. Now, one of the things I'm going to try to do is I'm going to place a add-on called the control circuit, and this allows you to go in and compare. Comparators will measure the selected inventory slot. We'll see if this actually gives us an output. Now, because we could technically autocraft a bunch of platinum dust, if you don't have enough energy in the magnetic field coil that allows you to stabilize this ring, it could cause some problems. So I have an idea. We're going to have a logical sorter here, and we're going to make it so whenever there is a redstone signal, this will not go off. If the autocrafter decides to put a bunch of gold dust in here, it's not going to let it run while there's stuff in here. You know, we got to put it on some type of timer, some type of cooldown. We set this bad boy here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set up an advanced computer. We're going to have a comparator come out of the accelerator field. At the top, we're going to have a redstone link. On this logical sorter, we're going to also have a redstone link. And we're going to go in and just set this to gold dust as well. And then this will be a receiver. We'll have this repeatedly in twos double pulse this logical sorter. It'll only do these double pulses when it notices that the magnetic field is at 100. When it notices the signal go below 100%, it will stop double pulsing completely. So we got to edit startup.lua, edit startup.lua. I'm going to go back here and put all of the code into one line so I can copy paste. And this should copy and paste the program. Exit, Control V. Hopefully that works. No such program. Let's see if this actually works. I mean, I could just use ChatGPT and it's smarter to do this. Hit the copy button, go into here, edit startup, Control V, save, exit. Let's see what happens. And redstone pulse required to activate. Operator is on the right. Redstone won't stop these bets. Here's an updated single line of code that with the input set to right and the output set to top. Delete startup. Edit startup. Save. Here we go. It double clicks and then it has this set up, and it's not going to go in and double pulse unless and then it gave us some platinum. Let's try to make 2 things of this stuff. As you can see here, 2 gold dust. Kaboom. See what happens if we go in and we remove, make the energy just get used up. This will actually go in and stop pulsing now that it's no longer at 100%. However, it's now going in and pulsing again. If any energy does get deprived in the magnetic field that messes this stuff up, we shouldn't really have to worry. That's what the computer craft computers can do, baby.